everybody. This is Miss Linda C. Jones coming to you live from my beautiful historic hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. And this is part two of my commentary and excerpts from a wonderful book that was given to me this past week entitled Jelly's Blues, The Life, Music, and Redemption of Jelly Roll Morton by authors Howard Reich and William Gaines. Phenomenal, phenomenal, extraordinary book. Of course, the picture you're looking at now is yours truly, but most of you who follow me know that. So again, I'm Miss Linda C. Jones, and I'm coming to you live from my beautiful historic hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. This is take two because I wanted to streamline this video just a little bit more. If I can, I'll come back to you later this evening, but I want to share a little bit with you from chapter one from this book entitled The District. Yesterday, I read the entirety of the preface, which is extraordinary. So I want to say thank you again. Thank you so much, Sean. I love this book. And this book, if you are able to get your hands on a copy of it, it has truly been a wonderful lifting of my spirits. It's been a while since I've listened to the music of Jelly Roll Morton. But if you are not from New Orleans and you've ever dreamt of coming to this magical city, I'd be willing to bet that somewhere in the backdrop of any film footage that you've watched, you were listening to the music of Jelly Roll Morton. Perhaps this was the backdrop of you strolling along with your family and friends through our historic French Quarter and, having coffee and beignets or whatever it is that you might be doing in this beautiful, magical city that I was birthed in. And the Incense Man is also a native New Orleanian, and we're both professional musicians. And this book is just such a poignant representation of a man who, let's see, how can we put this? You will learn in the preface of the book that yes, indeed, there was redemption for this man, because all that some tried to erase about him was not erased in the final analysis, because his music, his life, his legacy now remains in the historic New Orleans collection for the whole world to see. And so that's the beauty about the higher power of source, of our creator, of God, because the truth, sets us free, right? And his legacy lives on, and this book is a phenomenal representation of that. And so what I think I'm going to do is perhaps not read the entirety of the remainder of the book, but maybe I'll go through chapter by chapter as some inspiration for you to find a copy of this wonderful book. And I will read some excerpts and do a little bit of commentary on it. Once this video uploads, I will go back in and I will place another link in the description of another great video that I found here on YouTube of some of Jelly Roll's music, like a little bit of what I was playing when my video began. But I'm very grateful for this book. I've been going through some physical therapy and some extended care as a result of some rotator tears, and I know that I'll be back to 100%. I have complete faith in that. But right now I'm in the midst of going through it. And as a professional musician and as a lover of other people's music, if ever there was a time that there is a reminder to me of the power of how a kind gesture, like a wonderful gift like this, and listening to incredible music can take you up and over and lift you to a higher dimension. We all need to vibrate on a higher frequency. We all need to be cheered up. We all need to feel happiness. It is literally the rhythm of life. It's what makes us feel alive. It's what makes us feel like we can exist and be who it is that we are. That's the power of art given to us by God Himself, our Creator. And here in this book called Jelly's Blues, The Life, Music, and Redemption of Jelly Roll Morton by authors Howard Reich and William Gaines, this is a great delving into what the power of music can do for us. Now, there's so much about the history of my beautiful historic hometown of New Orleans on my YouTube channel found here. And wow, not only does this delve into the life of Jelly Roll Morton, but it's a history of New Orleans in and of itself. It's like you can feel as though you've been transported back in time right just after the turn of the century. So I'm going to read a little bit, a few excerpts of chapter 1 entitled The District. I'll wrap it up with a little bit of commentary, and then maybe I'll come back on later today or tomorrow and we'll continue delving into this amazing book. So it says, on a steamy September day in 1904, the Louisiana air, far too thick for the Midwesterner's lungs, a soft-spoken 20-year-old from Grand Rapids, Michigan, showed up for his first day of work and was stunned at what he heard. Though he had spent time in Chicago and New York, the two biggest, noisiest cities he knew, nothing could have prepared him for the bedlam occurring outside the Hibernia Bank and Trust Building at 313 Carondelet or Carondelet Street in downtown New Orleans. Oh yes, I know the area well. That's me saying that. Roy Carew, a bespectacled young bookkeeper waiting to meet his new boss in the 8th floor office of the New Orleans Acid and Fertilizer Company, jumped when he heard an explosion outdoors. Although Carew had been told famous tales of the way life was led in New Orleans, no one had mentioned this kind of life. No one had mentioned this. There was a sudden burst of music from Carondelet Street, right below the windows of the Hibernia Bank and Trust Company, and everyone went to the windows and looked out. He recalled viewing the procession from atop a skyscraper that attested to New Orleans' stature as the economic capital of the South. Even before office towers had begun reaching the clouds up in Chicago, the Hibernia Bank and Trust Building soared 12 stories high, a massive stone and mortar marvel, as modern as anything in the United States at that time. I'm going to stop and do a little bit of commentary here. So, how wild is that? Those of you New Orleanians thinking about current times in New Orleans, this book tells us that New Orleans, was known as an economic capital of the South. Wow, right at the turn of the century, we were an economic capital of the South. That's just wild. Visualize the clothes, our architecture that still stands today, and the music. Another paragraph says that the primal or their primal meeting ground was the parade, a rough and ready civic gathering where roving bands often doubled. Wow, how powerful is that? Another paragraph begins by saying every Sunday there was a parade in New Orleans. They would have a great big band, and they would have horses, and they would have big streamers and things that cost plenty of money. Morton remembered. And then he goes into the drum beats, he goes into the sounds and the beats of the music. That's pretty wild. And then it says in another paragraph on page 4, those who witnessed or let me rephrase that, those who witnessed such pomp never forgot it. And for young musicians lucky enough to hear this exultant music as it was being invented, There were precious lessons to be learned from the seeming anarchy of it all. I remember the time in New Orleans when I was a little youngster. They had the good old street parades, and brass bands, and every one of them was great, recalled Louis Armstrong, who heard horns crying so loudly as to make conversation virtually impossible. Wow, wow, how powerful is that? Another paragraph on page 5 begins by saying, the most original musicians America had yet produced were dispensing their wares for free on the streets of New Orleans to anyone who cared to listen. Wow. Just wow. I mean, all I can say is wow. Toward the bottom of page 5, it says below Canal Street, which split the district in half, was Basin Street, which was noted for its famous exclusive mansions, operated by such renowned women as Lulu White. Wow. On other streets that ran parallel to Basin, Liberty, Marais, Villeray, the class of meat market prices descended as low as 50 cents for its entertainment. I mean, every paragraph just gets better and better and better. You literally feel as though you're transformed in a movie about right after the turn of the century in old New Orleans. Anyway, what I want to say, just reflecting back to the preface, and I'll get back to chapter 1 in a little bit, but what I want to say about the preface of this book is it lets us know that as people, and this is my commentary, my opinion and thoughts, but I'm sure many would agree, the book lets us know in the preface that as many tried to discredit Jelly Roll Morton, as many tried to erase him as being inventor of jazz and all of his contributions to music, the truth prevails, right? God, our creator, our higher power, our source, always brings the darkness into light. And so that was done for Jelly Roll Morton because all of the documents, all of these wonderful archives are now found in the New Orleans Historic Collection for the whole world to tour and see. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? And what a testimony to this incredible, incredible musician that was inventing music that had never been heard before. Inventing music that had never been heard before, not in the way that he produced it. And when you think about, and I can share this with you as a songwriter myself, when you think about what is the power that inspires you to write a song, what gives you that inspiration? It has been written and movies have been made about this city, and so many have commented over the years and said that New Orleans, in and of itself, is a character in a book, a play, or a movie, right? And so when you think about the backdrop of what Jelly Roll Morton was experiencing when he was writing this music, when he was creating this music, can you imagine the explosive excitement that was going on at this time? And now, to bring it to present, we are in the midst of the beginnings of Mardi Gras season, which begins after Epiphany, the 12th day of Christmas, all that good stuff, right? And so um, we have all of the parades and the second lines, but second lines happen in New Orleans whether it's Mardi Gras time or not. So go back to 1904 and even before that, and you ask yourself, what could inspire people? I remember Incense Man one time said that someone told him that it was in the water. I've heard that from him, from other people, that people who live by the water have this magical inspiration that just takes them up and over to another dimension when it comes to inspiration. So yeah, what is it? What is it about the creation of music and an atmosphere and all that is vibing and one is feeling? And then when that inspiration by God is placed in an extraordinary musician like Jelly Roll Morton, and then it's given to the whole world, we know that it can only come from a divine source, our creator, because when something that divine and that heavenly is created, it must be shared, it must be heard, because these are the creations that make us feel, that take us to another place, that gets us out of the humdrum everyday existence of either just surviving or, dealing with the pain of rotator cuff tears or whatever it is, whatever it is that we may be going through. What a glorious gift from God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for music. Thank you for giving me the gift of music. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up and say bye for now. And I am going to enjoy continuing to delve into this book. I do have to get ready to sing soon. And that's a process for you artists out there getting ready to sing. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I hope all of you have a beautiful and a blessed day. I love this book, and I can't wait to read more of it. There's another piece of commentary that I want to add, but I'll do that in the next video, about the preface. All right, everybody, thank you for being a part of my channel. If you're just happening to happen upon my channel, please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free of charge to do so, and it's a great way to support musicians and other artists such as myself on this platform. So y'all take care, and thanks for all the love and support. Okay, everybody, I'll see y'all soon. Peace out and God bless.